Okay. So if you don't feel connected, maybe it's because of the fact that you don't have things in common with the people that's around you, or you're not looking for it, or you don't care, or you are just waiting for somebody else to use you as a brick in their life. Have you ever heard a song or read a book and for some reason it just stuck with you? Maybe a conversation that you had with a friend or a family member is just something that's never left you. So that thing is resonance, and that's going to be what we're focusing on today. Resonance, as defined by the dictionary, is the quality of being deep, full, and reverberating, or the ability to evoke emotions or memories in a powerful way. It's the reason sometimes things hit home a little bit closer than we might expect. But what is resonance? What is it? How does it work? Why does it work? Why do some things resonate with you on one day and not on another? That's what we're going to try and unpack today. And the focus is going to be you, because as our last video highlighted, people and people are selfish. So beyond beyond the dictionary definition, resonance is all about connection. And generally it helps us feel connected to other people and them feel connected to us. But that alignment, that focus that we sometimes find is something that's a little bit inconsistent for most of us. So, how do we get it to happen more? Or rather, should we get it to happen more? I've kind of noticed within my own life currently, I mean, I'm just coming off my birthday, and the things that have resonated with me around my birthday, particularly because of the fact that it's also January, which happens to be the best time for reflection, in my opinion. Um, I've learned that within figuring out, finding out, feeling out who it is that I want to be in the world and how it is that I've been in the world, there are things that sometimes need to change. And whether it is something that is someone else's thoughts and someone else's ideas that can assist with that, I've kind of noticed that maybe asking myself what is it that I'd like to resonate with me is a little bit more important. And simple things, whether it be belief systems, whether it be value systems, that tends to be what helps us connect with a lot of people. But sometimes it's also broken down to something as simple as, can this person be honest with me? And it's not so, I feel like the difficult part is it's the combination of what type of honesty have the people in your life given you versus what type of honesty do you expect from people versus what type of honesty do you most assume the people around you are comfortable giving to you. And then obviously for bonus marks, I'd ask why. Why is that the level of comfort, of honesty, of openness that people are comfortable giving you versus if they were next to other people, near other people, and they tend to be a little bit more open. I've had people be confused that there's information that strangers know about me that those closest to me do not. And yet I feel more comfortable talking to strangers because there's less room, conversation, opportunity for judgment to find me. And maybe you're the same. Maybe that's why you resonate better in the club while you're out in your best dressed, not having to focus on your life, right? But behind that, there's also a slight science behind it because of the fact that our brains are wired to latch onto these moments. And whether that is something that your granny taught you when you were a kid, something that your friends done while you were in your favorite teacher's class, or the most loathed teacher's class, whichever way we're going to talk about it. And we kind of have those emotions connected to it, which from a memory standpoint helps those memories stay in our mind for longer and in our thoughts for longer. So maybe if you have a memory problem, you actually have an emotion problem. Who knows? But why is it why is it important to connect? Because obviously when people talk about certain things, generally we tend to pretend like it's the same for everybody else or that it's not the same for everybody else without realizing that maybe it's just our opinion on everybody else. So with regards to us connecting with other people, the real question I would have, if people are people and people are selfish, what does your connection with yourself look like? Are you listening to yourself? Are you in tune with yourself? One of the reasons that I do the music recommendations is because for that period in my life, those are songs that resonated with me. Whether it be it resonated with me because of what I'm experiencing, or it resonated with me because of who sent me the song, or it resonated with me because of who the song made me think about. All of those things are things that I deem as important, and therefore I will pay attention to them. So maybe a better question in resonance is, what do you deem as important? What are you paying attention to? In the beginning of the year, everybody is pursuing success. Everybody is doing the goal setting thing, the motivation thing, da 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 da. In my head, most of those people started doing it last year. The people that are actually sticking to their goals and working on their ambitions, they don't wait for a time of year for that to be the thing that motivates them. They either shift their motivation because December is family time, and therefore the thing I am most focused on is spending time with my family, or it's so my family is going to be around. I have to still maintain the status quo and keep up what it is that I'm working towards, because next year is going to come and it's going to find me. I know it's late and I know it's random, but Happy New Year's to everybody that's watching. Need to say that this is my first video for the year, and yeah, it's been playing on my mind for quite a bit, because generally in January I don't do anything, not for anybody else at least. I tend to try and focus on myself. It is the 1 month of the year that I claim as my own. um my family has this weird ritual where we say, from your birthday until the next person's birthday or the end of the month, whichever comes sooner, that is your birthday month. And my sister and I are born in the same month. So we celebrate up until my birthday, and post that point, I kind of celebrate. And it's interesting because there's also been a lot of other stuff that have happened in the year. So I ask myself the same question I'm asking you, is, why are the things that are resonating with me important to me in this current moment in my life? And I don't have a supportive or philosophical answer. I think the simple answer is because it is. And that's okay. But I've also noticed, and the thing that I've learned within the things that have been resonating with me, is that I am potentially focused on the fact that who it is that I've been, who it is that I'm becoming, and who it is that I will be are not the same people. They do not resonate with one another. So there is definitely a journey that has to happen, and I'm not one for New Year's resolutions, nor am I one to try and pretend like we can positive affirmation life away and focus on other things. So we need to choose, in my opinion, because I am leaning the way of intention. We need to choose what it is that we want to matter, and whether that is yourself, as it should be. Because if you are struggling with connecting, the odds are the person that is most afraid of connection is you. If you are struggling with being seen, it probably means you are not seeing other people. You are not actually paying attention to who it is that's around you. If your problem is time, you probably have too much of it. And in having too much of it, it's this, or too little of it, and it's this. Maybe you need to come up with the answer yourself. Maybe that's what needs to resonate with you on this episode, right? So it's gonna affect different parts of your life, obviously. If you are struggling to figure out what you are attuned to in your world, the things that are resonating with you are going to have less value immediately. Whether that is you're a single parent and you want to have friends, but you're not realizing that it makes sense for you to have other single parent friends. Granted, I'm not saying that needs to be who your friends are. I'm just saying, for the lessons that you might need for that stage of your life, that might be a really smart place to learn it without being shady and aggressive and all of that, because no one is attacking you. Granted, the space is as safe as you make it. It is not a matter of coddling. It is not a matter of prioritization. It's not that. It is me simply saying, the person you've been before you had a kid, you were not a parent. Therefore, at the very least, there are two different people. There's a person that exists before you being a parent, and there's a person that exists after. How many of the things that you currently do look like the person before you had a kid? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm paying attention to. Because something that I think is a weird thing, but it's something I'm trying to play down, is the amount of people that between a Friday and a Sunday are different to who it is that they are during the week. That's confusing to me. It's confusing to me because of the fact that there are more weekdays than weekend days. So, what secret agent bullshit is being caught on? Who is it that people are becoming? And I don't understand it. But granted, that's my own thing. So, that tends to be something that comes across as dishonesty to me, right? Not necessarily the truth, because it might not be somebody else's intention. And intention is a really important thing in resonance. Okay, stay with me. Sorry, my brain is running in 100 directions. But within reading a book, for example, reading a book about hope, the pieces that are resonating with me are how many people feel hopeless. It's not always the intended message, but also that's not the purpose of the book. The book has lessons and teachings and other things that resonate with me as well. But there are the surface or top layer things that resonate with you, and then there's the deeper things. The 10th time you listen to a song versus the first, those types of things. And being able to understand why or how certain things are resonating with you, in my opinion, can help you with your own decision making and therefore with your own accountability. You see, and if we go back to the previous episode about acknowledgements, it's about understanding that you're not saying thank you to get anything back in return. You're saying it because you're grateful, regardless of how you say it. It's bigger than the words thank you. And so many times people feel unappreciated or underappreciated that that tends to create a lot more tension in our bonds. So less effort gets put in, the bonds get tumultuous, and then it's gone. Do you understand? So I'm trying to connect all of the pieces of things that I've spoken about so that you can understand you are the connections you make. As much as that is truthful for our friendship groups, it is also truthful for our family, the music tastes we have, the books that we read, the places we go, the people we see. So if the point of resonance is connection, then obviously if I have a deep conversation, I'm connected with this person, right? Hmm? Obviously if I have an ability to be real with this person, there's some kind of connection there, right? Hmm? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I've ever agreed with that. I don't know if I agree with the fact that people say there's a special person for you out there. Why? Because to some degree, I believe that work put in will yield results. Maybe not the results you want, sure, different argument. But if we are going to take it from a place of, oh, there's this person that I find attractive, we haven't even asked the question as to why yet. It's, oh, I like short girls with curly hair. Okay, why? From where does that stem? Are you saying that a tall girl with curly hair is not as attractive? Sure. Why? Chubby girl? Thick, smart, blonde, brunette, redhead. Doesn't matter. White, brown, blue, purple, green. All of those preferences that we've accumulated in our lives. Do you ask yourself why they're there? Or do you just let them be there? Are they just meant to exist? Okay. So if you don't feel connected, maybe it's because of the fact that you don't have things in common with the people that's around you, or you're not looking for it, or you don't care, or you are just waiting for somebody else to use you as a brick in their life. It's a lot. It's weird. It's not supposed to be sappy. It's not supposed to be overwhelming, but it is. Because if the goal is to connect, it means we technically feel we want a shared connection, right? I don't want to give to you and you not feel like you can give to me. If I give you trust and you don't give me trust in return, I get upset. Simple, isn't it? But people are not like that. People don't do things for the same reason. Some people do things as a means to an end. Some people do things because they know what end result they want and they fine with the means. Therefore, it's transactional. It's rough. It's disconnected, in my opinion. So, with regards to where this comes from, I mean, you can talk about society, you can talk about culture, you can talk about upbringing, you can talk about schools, socioeconomic class. There's 100 different things that you can talk about. But overcomplicating it 9 times out of 10 doesn't help it. It's just more information if you need it to help things make sense in your head. Maybe it's simple. The society that you live in two different deviations. The one you want to be a part of and the one you wish it was. That's what it's about. Is it not? But how do you shape society then? How do you affect society with this very same shared connection that everyone's pursuing? How do you have the impact that you want to have? You know? Um, for anyone that doesn't already know, I am an anime fan. And a big underlying theme in a lot of some of the big animes is that you need to do what it is that you need to do for you, and the correct people will be affected by the result of interacting with you. You being consistent does more good for you and your connection than you being inconsistent or you being temporary. So maybe that's the answer. The correct answer is not that, or ask, it's not about asking the question of what does and doesn't resonate with me. It's how often do the same things resonate with me. And whether you are someone that talks about the universe, the Lord, Allah, Buddha, doesn't matter. That is something that fundamentally gives core meaning to what it means to be a human being. And maybe that's what you need to focus on. Maybe you need to stop focusing on what it is that you want from the world and asking yourself, what is it that I bring to the world? Always. Whether I'm in a good mood, whether I'm in a bad mood, whether I'm up, down, broke, rich, doesn't matter. Shouldn't matter. But it does, because we're people, and people are selfish. How do you, how often does your ego get in the way of those things that are meant to resonate with you? That's a thought. That's something you need to know about. That's something that's important. And that's what we're focusing on. We are focusing on, is your ego even something that you're aware when it's involved, and how it's standing in the way of you figuring out the things that are meant for you, right? Because there's other distractions. I mean, if ego can get involved, then your phone, your job, your family, your friends, where you go, how you go, why you go, all of those things can also then be distractions. That's then something that you also need to be mindful of, right? So, yeah, the final piece of resonance that I want to focus on or talk about quickly is maybe, so if we want more of it, what do we do, right? And I think the first place I would start is maybe finding out what resonates with you. I mean, the thing I'm trying to pick up now is reading. Hasn't been a easy task for me. My brain gets bored. But it's not reading's fault. It's everything else that I've done. It's my phone. It's PlayStation growing up, all of that. I want all of my senses flooded as constantly as possible. That's the fun part to me, you know? So reading is a little bit difficult, but you need to challenge yourself in order to do things differently if you want to be a different person, if you want to become who it is that you want to be. And it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be simple. It's meant to be difficult, else how will the universe know that it's something that you want? But yeah, look at conversations, look at books, look at ideals. There's many different things that you can focus on. And if not, find the things that make you really angry, because those are also things that are resonating. Find the things that make you really sad. Those are also things that you're resonating with. Resonating has nothing to do with a positive or negative emotion. It's merely the fact that there's a feeling attached to it. So look into that. Okay. But a more simple place to start would maybe be being present in your own life. Actually be where your feet are, as they say. And that might be difficult. A lot of people don't want to be where their feet are. A lot of people don't want to be in the houses that they are. It happens. It's okay. But you need to work through it in some way, because if the connection with yourself isn't there, like I said earlier, the connection with anything else in the world is going to be difficult. It's going to be pseudo, it's going to be false by mistake without the intention of that being the cause. And that's something to be very, very mindful of. And if knowledge can be defined as knowing what you don't know, then figuring out what resonates with you could also be dependent on knowing what doesn't. If you are not the person that likes clubs, stop going to the club. If you're the person that isn't a fan of sports, stop going out to sports bars to go and chill with your friends. You're not you're not there. You're not where your feet are. But also put some stuff on the line, put yourself on the line. Be who it is that you really are and try and do the things that work for you. If you are, I don't know, I'm terrible at art. So I'm intimidated by sip and paints and draw this and make this, and I'm terrible at that. So people that want to do that, I generally will remove myself from that space. Yes, there are people that I would do it with if that's not the focus and spending time with them is. But it's about understanding when something is a means to an end and when it's not. Technically, no interaction that you have with a person should be about the end result. Else, it's everything up until that point is manipulation. And I don't know if you guys believe that, but I think that's kind of shitty. It's shitty to live life in transactional relationships. It is not it is not for me to deem the value of another human being purely because of the fact that currently what they have going on works for me or doesn't. And that's where you're figuring out what doesn't resonate, being more present, paying attention to what does resonate, those kind of things. That's where the connection then stems from. It's I'm spending time with you because I want to, not because I want something from you. See, and that's kind of where it's at. So we are gonna also do some song recommendations before I close up and finish up the episode. But a little bit of homework for the week, maybe. Try and find something that resonates with you. Whether it's a conversation, whether it's a book, a movie, a series, doesn't matter. Just find something. Okay. Just so that we can talk about what resonated with me this week. Okay, so the first recommendation for this week is going to be Time by Rex Life Raj. There is a colors with it on that. That one's also nice, but the original song from the album is also cool. The second one is Trophy Shelf by Emlyn and Fievel. The third one is Overrated by Kenya Vaughan. Then Disconnection by Kyle Prater, not sure how to say his name. And then the final one is Up and Up by Lemon. Right, so that is our audio Rex this week. Okay, and then our final recommendation, if we can call it that, is then going to be shows. So one anime, one, do I call it normal people show? The first is going to be Landman or Landman. Weird, unique. Shame, I must give a movie also, right? So yeah, so Landman, basically the oil version of Yellowstone, similar energy esque thing. Yeah, the sun in that show. If you are budding and trying to figure out your shit in your life, that's my character to watch. And then my animation recommendation for this week, even though if you are watching anime, you are definitely already on it, is Solo Leveling. Oh, what they are doing with season 2 is top tier stuff. I did not think they would be able to improve on season 1, but damn, have they done some stuff on the show. And then movie. Okay, movie. I'm gonna add a asterisk, just because of the fact that there is a trigger warning that the movie does post about. But yeah, it was a lot to watch, but it was also, do I say eye opening? Is that even a fair thing to say? Blink twice. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Those are the three recommendations: one anime, one movie, and one series. Okay, so then we're gonna wrap it up, right? So what did we learn today? Um, So resonance is about experiences that feel deep and real and unforgettable, you know, those kinds of things. But it's the things that connect us to ourselves and each other. So we pay attention to what resonates with us. We can learn this by paying attention to what doesn't resonate with us, how we feel. We can be present while we are trying to pay attention to what is resonating with us. And yeah, we can create, we in the attempt to connect to other people mutually so that we can create more meaningful lives, deeper relationships, as well as a stronger sense of self. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Ordinary Connection podcast, where we keep it real, raw, and relevant. In this week's episode, if you resonated with this week's episode, pun intended, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it. Tell your friends, friends, and tell your friends, friends. Okay, until next time, stay curious, stay kind, stay connected. Keegan out.